Thank you. I'm inspired by the ideas and innovations that have been shared during DataCon, and speaking here really feels like a full circle moment for me. When I was at Toyota, I had the great fortune to work along great technologists and thought leaders, and it's inspiring to see how our industry and these technologists have grown. I first met Subhash when we hired him as Toyota's big data architect, our first, and Brian Kursar, who's been a past presenter and contributor to DataCon, performed with such great brilliance that he's rocketed from the data science and big data innovator role I once hired him for to the CTO and group vice president of digital technology at Toyota North America. These gentlemen share a common theme with all of us here. We're all here because we are passionate and inspired by the value of data, and mindful sharing is an amazing way for us all to grow. My name is Mike Burkes, and I lead the data team at Ultra, Mint, and Plum Mobile, which are all brands with an incredibly vibrant and innovative company that thrives on change and exploitation of opportunity. I've been so fortunate to have had a career where the business pushes boundaries. Toyota launched hybrid Prius with gas at $1 a gallon, and Mint Mobile launched a completely online sales model for wireless service where every other brand in the United States had you primarily visiting brick and mortar stores. As history played out, both decisions were so relevant and demonstrated how disrupting the marketplace at the right time can be turning points to the organization. I believe we're at a critical mass point where all the work on AI is going to naturally blend with our dashboards to provide virtual analysis systems that the industry coins as AI Augmented Business Intelligence. In breaking down Augmented BI, we have to get to the fundamental function of business intelligence, to empower correct decision-making. Over time, we've seen BI evolve from trying to complement a gut feeling with actual insights to being highly ingrained in business processes, where BI is actually driving the assembly lines, routing calls in a busy phone network, or stopping transactions when fraud is detected. With decisioning becoming incredibly important, incredibly complex, and incredibly urgent, how do we empower decision makers with always available, always relevant, the opportunity to move Toyota out of such a huge dependency on Excel, and that's still an amazing product, into the future of business intelligence 2.0. My spiel was an adaptation from the old movie The Gumball Rally, where one of the drivers ripped off the rearview mirror and proclaimed, "What is behind us doesn't matter." The analogy was meant to convey that if we spent all of our time looking back, we might miss opportunities ahead of us. So cut to this very dramatic picture of an impending storm looming ahead of us, and the picture in our rearview mirror isn't nearly as captivating as the view out the windshield. We prided ourselves in Business Intelligence 2.0 with building elaborate dashboards and overwhelming our users with every flavor of chart and visualization known to humankind. Our goal was certainly to inform, but secretly also to keep the CXOs somewhat out of our office. We chose tools that didn't limit us to one page, so our users could scroll down through tens of charts. We used cluster analysis and predictive models to provide direction. Sometimes we got so excited about prognosticating what was in front of us that we forgot that what is behind us can matter. My analogy was flawed then, because what if what is behind us has built up the momentum of a million raindrops and is now a raging flash flood ready to overtake us? How do we keep all that evolving data and history relevant into what is happening today? And how do we blend it with our measurement of the present and our modeling of the future to put the absolutely most powerful information into the hands of our decision makers? Could the answer be Augmented BI? Well, this trend report by TechTarget identifies many of the features expected in an augmented analytics tool. The players in this field are growing, and Gartner predicts that by 2025, augmented analytics will be mainstream. Some of the foundational BI tools have been using natural language processing techniques and context-driven visualization for years. The next generation of tools are taking this just a bit further. They are building stories around the data. And please note that my representation of players in this game is just a subset, and obviously all the major players that I showed below are heavily invested and have invested to make this a viable product. So how does this work? Well, a business user typically presents a question in the search box in natural business language. The black box of the system then tokenizes this using NLP, NQL, and language dictionaries, which is all the work we do during the setup that provides semantic context. The result is processed for ambiguity correction, context normalization, and phrase completion, which results in a logically complete, optimized, syntactically correct SQL or SPL statement. The response is then post-processed for summarization and ranking. AI is used to sequence clarifications and resolve ambiguity and context collisions. Finally, the platform selects the relevant charts, data tables, summary text, and optimizes the presentation platform. There are a variety of tools present or emerging in the marketplace. Some are meant as add-ons to existing BI and data science platforms, which are obvious choices for you if you're heavily invested and trained on a stack. Some are standalone and dedicated to a domain, like health services or fraud or marketing. These applications come with strong compliance and semantic models built in, and which should certainly provide an accelerator in your deployment. The third grouping focuses on a very specific capability and are attempting to find a niche with differentiated service offerings. These can take a little more time to establish, though they likely offer greater adaptability to your business process. I feel strongly that enterprise KPIs and the formulation of those KPIs should be sacred, and there must be many fail-safes against inadvertent access to sensitive data. With that frame of mind, it was important that we look at systems that could be easily integrated into our LDAP and two-factor authentication security models, that could operate against a governed and curated data set protected by low-level security. Since my primary goal was to reduce executive questions back to our analyst, I wanted the results presented in an easily digestible, concise, and accurate format. In choosing a tool partner for this engagement, the team viewed several demos of several tools and settled on a tool that met our need for adaptation, had a great user interface, met our needs for governance, and had a unique presentation method that we thought would appeal to our user base. We purchased a minimal license set for our evaluation, which was our choice. I don't like to have vendors doing something for nothing. And we got the vendor to agree to build an HDFS Impala connector against our 30 million row data set. We modeled the KPIs and outcome paths and then waited disappointedly for the system to generate. Our first lesson learned was that our flavor of analysis was not well suited for the latency in HDFS. We then leveraged a Snowflake connector and replicated the curated data set to Snowflake, where performance improved dramatically and the system became viable. If you enter into this system with the understanding, or if you enter into this with the understanding that there's upfront work you need to do to put in to make sure the system understands your business terminology and hierarchies, then the results can be pretty impressive. While I prefer to show you the results from our own workspace, it's just too transparent in that I couldn't mask user volumes and margins. I offer this generic example instead, which provides a salient overview of capabilities. The video snippet you're about to see is an output resulting from a single line request to review cells over the year. For transparency, we partnered with MachEye as our partner vendor, and the story you will hear is completely generated by the platform.
Hi, your business insights are ready. Let's take a look. The average monthly per store sales in 31 months is $158.78. July 2021 was the month with the maximum per store sales of $318.16 in 2021, while August 2020 had the maximum per store sales of $218.37 in 2020. The per store sales growth between January 2021 and July 2021 is 21.
So I've done many tool evaluations in all my career, and really the UIs have continued to improve. This was no different. I really love the UI in the system. I've got some screenshots here. I love the ability to score the importance of data elements, and the built-in calculator and alerts on data quality, and the ability to make data attributes searchable or not, and to add our own segmentation and probability routines into the analytics drill downs. While I'm really not ready to assign my business analysts and our business executives aren't quite ready for business narratives from the offspring of HAL 9000, I do think these systems will grow in adaptation and function. In closing, I want to recognize the great job the City and County of LA have done in providing data resources for business to action on during COVID. All of our roles in data management, analysis, and delivery have been under great stress, and these tools have been extremely helpful. I also want to recognize some very special influencers shown here on the business side from my career. It's really the excitement these leaders have shown in exploiting the value of data that has made my career so rewarding. And finally, thank you again for bringing us all together. Subhash, DataCon 2021 is amazing. Thank you all for your time.